Hey, 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 I'm back. This is Leah Lachlan, and thank you again for your interest in the Brain Book. And this training video is on developing stars using the Brain Book. Okay, so the Star Consultant Program is truly one of those core programs in the Mary Kay world for consultants and for sales directors. And just to go kind of big picture on you guys, we use programs like the Star Consultant Program and multiple other programs to develop our people. Okay, I didn't say develop leaders, I said develop people, because we develop every woman who walks through the doors of our organization. And one way we develop her is through programs. And you learn to use the program not to just increase sales and productivity or increase recruiting. Yes, it's for that purpose as well, but the bigger picture version is using the programs to develop people, to bring women into your space and organization, and to create the space for her to grow into the highest and best version of herself. And yes, our programs actually do that, because when a woman engages in any program that you have in your unit, she grows. She develops people skills and communication skills and emotional management skills and time management skills. And she builds her confidence, and she learns to stretch herself and do things that are uncomfortable. But then all of that's happening within a safe, loving environment where you're there to support her, and she's got a group of women who love her and are encouraging her and are cheering her on and are wanting what's best for her. Okay, so even the consultant who really isn't interested in leadership or isn't interested in a career with Mary Kay can still be developed through our programs. Okay, so I wanted to say all that to give you the bigger picture of what the Star Consultant Program is. Yes, it's to increase the sales and productivity of your unit and the individual unit members who are engaging in the program, but there is a bigger picture to it that I think is important to remember. And so the Brain Book helps you to track and develop stars through a couple of different resources. And the first one is the 13-week strategy for building stars. It's a one-page document that you really don't do a whole lot with, except that it's a quarterly reminder on how to lay out, strategize, and execute on the Star Consultant Program. And this is a one-page document that happens every single quarter. It's in every quarter of the Brain Book. And so it just lays out the 13 weeks that are in the quarter and has some bullet point ideas of what you can do. These come from just what I do to execute and implement the Star Consultant Program in my own unit. And then I leave a blank for each week for you to fill in your own thoughts, ideas, style, and creativity. And so it's a reminder, but then you can't leave it on this page. Remember, you've got to take it and then plug it in to each week of the quarter, so that when you get to that week, you're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to launch the flyer for the outing this week. Good, I'm glad I remembered that and didn't have the oh crap feeling that we've talked about in another video. And so you're taking these ideas, you're tweaking them, you're changing them, you're making them your own, and you are plugging them into your week at a glance. On the day, ideally, that you do Star Consultant Communication. And so for me, that's usually on Mondays. And so I would take these ideas and be plugging them into somewhere in my working day on a Monday, typically. Are there exceptions to that? Sure. But typically, on Mondays, I'm doing something with the Star Consultant Program. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes, and I just need to post a little reminder or remind my assistant to send out some on-target emails. And sometimes it takes me quite a bit of time. So an example of that would be, maybe it's getting closer to the end of the quarter and I'm really wanting to coach some people who are close, but they're going to need a little bit of support to finish. And so I'm investing, maybe several minutes of conversations with these people who are close. That would be an example of maybe a longer work session on the Star Consultant Program, but it's going to change from week to week. But remember, it's a part of your 90-day communication strategy, so it's always worked in. All you have to decide from week to week is what actually needs to happen within that program. Okay? And so then when you turn the page, you have a space to track it. And so it looks like this. And you can write down people in your unit who you believe can build to a star. And I even put new consultants who are in our unit within the last month or two who could still possibly come in with inventory and start their business as a star. So they're even written on those lines as well. And then as you add stars to your unit, you're tracking them on this tracking page. Okay, you guys, pretty simple. So let's shift and let's talk about event campaigning. This was another, I guess you could say, core program in my unit and in my area, because events are often a catalyst and a pivotal moment for a consultant to be at an event. And when I say event, I mean the larger ones like January Jumpstart or Feel the Power, career conference, seminar, fall advance, those kind of big events that happen throughout the year. And so there's always one, at least one every single quarter. And so I want to remember to get people there. And here's a common pitfall that I see among directors is that they just rely on posting the flyers, sending an email, and waiting for people to register. Sort of a very passive role in event campaigning. Sure, you're providing the information, you might be talking about it at the meeting, but I want to encourage you to take a really active, more aggressive leadership role when it comes to encouraging your people to come to an event. Don't fall into the thinking of like, well, oh, the people who want to come will register. And if they can't come or don't want to come, then they won't. Okay, it's a very passive way to lead your unit. Okay, you want to be active and engaged in leading people and helping them to problem solve and helping them to see the value in it and helping them to see why it matters to you that they are there. We've got to be active in that. And so that takes a weekly focus. So again, event campaigning is something that happens in my 90-day communication strategy. So it's happening at least once a week. And usually as we get closer to the event, it's happening maybe more than once a week as that deadline approaches, but at least once a week throughout the quarter, I am doing some event campaigning. And I like to break my unit down into A, B, and C. And I will actually open my entire unit list and I will scan through every single name. The reason I do this is because I just don't want to miss anyone. And so I'll scan through every single name. And the A list is obvious. The A people are your key people who, like, you probably don't even have to talk to them about it. They're going to go because it's a priority and value for them. And they're going to register. Okay, so those are sort of the easy people. You might need to remind a few people or have a conversation with a few people. But usually they're on it. Okay, that's then you go to the B list. The B list are the people you would most likely invest the most time in and emotional energy into, maybe having conversations, helping them come up with solutions, helping them see the value, helping them to see why it's important to you that they're there and what they add to your unit. Okay, so those are conversations that need to be had. And those B people are people who, you know, they maybe at one point wanted something out of their business, but they're not real active anymore, or maybe they're in a place of frustration, or maybe they're going through life stuff. And so, yeah, they could have any number of things going on, but they're people that you're most likely, like, you need to have a conversation with her for her to even consider it. And so you as the leader are engaging and being proactive about those conversations with your B people. Your C people, those are people who probably aren't going to come, and that's okay, but you want to reach out to them anyways because you just want to reach out to them. And that often for me is maybe a voice text or a voicemail or a Voxer message where I'm reaching out, inviting them, and using my voice just because I want it to be more personal. And it's the kind of thing that I would say, like, well, hey, I thought of you. And we've got this event coming up, and I know Mary Kay is not a priority for you at all, but I couldn't help but think of you. And just in case it's an option, I just wanted to put it out there on your radar. And hey, I'd love to catch up, call me or text me when you can. And so it's just like a touch. She may not come to the event, but that says a lot to your people when they hear like, oh, she remembered me. She thought of me. She took the time to reach out and see how I'm doing. She honored the fact that Mary Kay's not a priority in my life. You're not trying to pretend that it's the highest priority and she should get registered today. You honored the fact that you know that it's not a high priority, and that's okay. Okay, so that communication, even if you never get a response from her, even if she never comes to an event, that kind of communication is valuable and communicates to people that they're valued and thought of beyond their performance or productivity in their Mary Kay business. And so you may not spend a ton of time and emotional energy on these people, but you just want to like reach out and touch somebody. Okay, so that's the C list. And then again, every week I'm doing more event campaigning. Sometimes it's going to take me 5 minutes to just send a quick reminder or an update on who's registered. Sometimes I'm going to invest maybe a couple of hours in conversations with people about it. Okay, so that just depends on the time of the month and the timing before the event. All right, but this gives you space to make your A, B, and C list. And then what I do is on the month that the event is actually happening, below that month, I left space for notes, but I actually use that space for who I've reached out to, what they've said. I put a yes or a no or a maybe by people's names as I hear from them. It's kind of just where I track like who is and is not coming based on my communication. And I also keep track of what I did. Like, okay, I sent an email about it this week, and this week I'm going to let everybody know where they can win. I keep track of that so I know what I have and have not communicated. All right, so we covered stars and event campaigning. You guys tune in for the next video coming up soon on more details on the Brain Book. Have a great day.